Happy Wednesday, you guys. Good evening. I just saw a comment that said impromptu live. It was totally impromptu. And talk to y'all about my membership group. I know I've been putting it out there in pieces and parts, and I thought I'd give you a little bit more information tonight. And I thought while we were at it, why not create? So I'm gonna throw together a little journal page and show you how quick and easy it is to create in your art journal. But I'm gonna tell you real quick, it is almost 5 after, a little bit more about my membership group. And if you guys have questions, you can pop them into the comments. If I miss one, because the comments are rolling kind of fast, if I miss one, I will definitely go back and answer it for y'all, all right? But like I said, I thought in addition to giving you more information about my art journal membership, my art and art journaling membership, that I would share some pages with you that I've done, and then also create one with you guys and show you how easy and quick it all can come together. Okay, so again, my membership doors open on Friday. It's a membership group that I started last October. And going into last summer, I was doing an event called Summerfest with Chris Hoy. And I taught an art journaling class, and I've taught art journaling at conventions around the country. And then also with many chapters around the country, painting in the art journal and sharing that with them. And so last October, I started my Adventures of Art and Art Journaling membership. The doors open. They were going to open again in February, but 2020 kind of carried over, like I said on our last live, into 2021, just a little bit too far for me. So, yeah, the doors open Friday. They will only be open, and I did change this. I was going to close them midnight on Sunday. They will actually close now midnight on Monday. So it'll be open for 4 days. You have 4 days to sign up if you're interested. After that, the doors close, and my membership won't open again until the fall. Okay? Can't wait to hear about your membership costs, etc. Yes, yes, yes. So on my website, which that's my link if you're not sure. So on my website, if you go there, you will see a tab at the very top like this. It's right at the very top of my website. You'll see that. When you click on that, it's going to take you to all of the information about the Adventures of Art and Art Journaling. Okay. All the way down at the very bottom, you'll see where you can sign up, not today, but on Friday, for an annual membership, which is for 1 year from when you sign up, and, or a monthly membership. So, in addition to you signing up and doing monthly or a year from now, thank you, Tracy. All the content from October is in that group, is on that page for you to go to and have all the lessons, all the Zoom classes. We've had 2 amazing Zoom classes. We've had guest artists. Kathy Hansen did a drawing tutorial lesson for my group. Tracy Moreau did a lettering lesson. Marianne Andresia did, she does the most amazing cards, and she shared how to do like a little pop-up element on a journal page and how to incorporate some card making skills into an art journal page. I had Kat Kerr. If you're not familiar with her, amazing talent. And she did a tutorial for us. And I just recently had the amazing Beth Watson, who does so many different things. She's Creatively Beth, and she was on doing Tombow markers and showing us how to create with those, and amazing backgrounds and just lettering and stuff. It was amazing to have her on. So hi, Pat. Hi, Sue. Sandy gives her members more than any groups do. Oh, you're very sweet. Hi, sister. So Leslie, what the membership includes is everything I just said, all the current content that's been on there since October, all those lessons from my art friends that have so graciously come onto my group and shared their talents with my members, 2 Zoom classes that we've done. You get the links for those. And The doors close on Monday, which is what, the 3rd? Is that the 3rd? Because on the 4th, we have our very first Facebook Live as a group on the page. So each month, again, when you go to my website, you'll see this banner. And when you click on that, you can read through all the different things that it says that we do and that we're going to do. But in a nutshell, 3 to 4 times a month, I get together with you guys on the Facebook group and we create and create and create. We do everything from backgrounds to making our own collage paper to journals, taking it outside the journal. I have some fabric things and some glass things and some other things coming up for my tribe and my membership after the doors close. And we get everybody into the group and we can start creating. So again, at the bottom of the page on my website, you'll see you can sign up yearly or annually or monthly. So let me see, Kathy Hansen she did an amazing job, didn't she, Tracy? Yes. So the cost of the membership, again, is on my website. You'll see it. I'm just going to go ahead and tell you. I'm very transparent about everything, and let me tell you why why it's set up this way. You can pay monthly. It's $34 a month. Again, that includes all the content that's on my membership page right now, plus 3 to 4 times a month creating with me, having a special guest artist come in. Sometimes I'll have a business come in and share some things, some insider information. And the other thing is I love to use product. I love to kind of stretch product to the limit, see what all it can do. I love to share all the different ways I use products. And I just try to give y'all as much content, but in a very low stress, low key kind of way. You can create when you have time to create because everything is recorded. Everything is recorded and right there on the page for you to go find it. All right. So let me look over here real quick. Hi, Pat. Hi, Maddie. Best group ever. Sandy shares so much. Thank you. Thank you so much, Barb. Barb is putting the links in the live for me right now in the comments. So you can go over after we chit chat and create a journal page, okay? So while you're on my website as well, you'll go to that page and you'll see all the information. About 3/4 the way down, there's a little click here button that says membership testimonials. And I see that it's locking up again out of the corner of my eye. So if you click on that membership testimonials, every single one of them brought the lump to my throat and tears to my eyes because I'm extremely blessed by these ladies and by this membership. And so there's just some sweet comments and, what I wanted them to let me know what it meant to them and what the membership group has meant for them. And so just a lot of sweet comments and notes about what the membership means to them. So I hope you'll go and check that out. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and flip down to my work thing, my workspace right here. And let's just go over a couple of pages. So hi, Virginia. So glad you're here. So for y'all that joined me on Sunday, this is the page we did on Sunday. This video is on my page. It's also on YouTube. Okay. And then I just wanted to take you through, let me zoom in just a little. I want to take you through and show you some of my other pages that I've done. I taught this at Creative Painting in Vegas. This lesson is on DecoArt's Facebook page. And alrighty. Okay, so this was a page that I did. I shared with my group how to create collage paper. So this is all collage paper using stamps and stencils, all different stamps and stencils from different companies, different lines. And another journal page that I love, again. Now, if you think, oh, I don't know how to paint flowers, you do not have to know how to paint flowers. You do not have to know how to paint anything for that matter, because everything I share and show you is going to is going to be easy and broken down so that it's in steps that you can follow. Okay. I'm teaching this one this coming Friday with the Society of Decorative Painters group. Oh, I love this page. I cannot wait to teach that one. I taught this recently, again, through the Decorative Painters Academy. Love her. All the feels a week after losing my... Oh, and so this one, I like to write in it sometimes, but usually I'll have a word. And this one says, all the feels a week after losing my precious doggy. So I guess a page that I created after I lost my dog. And then just some drawing. So again, last 2019, I started the year off and I wanted to do a journal page a day. And I made it to day 15 and then I started traveling. But just a couple of the pages just to walk you through some of the things that I've created. Thank you so much, Glenna. Again, just, you know, different techniques, different ways to create, different combinations of color. And I don't know, I love creating in my art journal. And like I said, you know, this page became a class and I kind of switched it up a bit. And oftentimes they do. So let me just see if kind of flip through those without giving you a headache. Okay. Isn't that the truth? Right there. Just sign it for a great time. Oh, thank you so much, Kathy. Isn't this the truth? We definitely do. And art washes from the soul, the dust of everyday life. This was a journal page I created this past summer. And then the Dynasty specialists, we created these pages last year in the middle of the pandemic when it just seemed like, you know, things were a little hopeless. All right, let's start creating, okay? I'm going to zoom out just a little. I don't know about y'all, but I'm ready for things to be better. Okay, so I took my journal page out, as you saw, and that's another reason why I love that journal, because you can take those pages out, and I'm going to put gesso on. So I'm using the Traditions white gesso. Okay, so I'm going to take some out with a palette knife. And I'm just going to apply it to my page. I wanted to show you a different way. The other day, Sunday on my live, I showed you how to add it with a brush. And I like to add it this way with the palette knife, just very haphazard. You can get a look of like stucco, and you get the most amazing effects when you go to put paint on it. Nothing else in my house is on either, so no, it's not my system. Oops, I'll get that back. So what happens when this dries, I'm going to hold it up so you can see it. Oh, thank you, Linda. Yeah, it's in an old journal of mine. Okay, so do you see, not all the paper has gesso. So what happens is the paint hits it differently. So when I show you how I put this paint on, it's going to grab the paper differently than it does the gesso. Okay, so I'm going to set this aside to dry. And I already have one dry. Let's get that cleaned up. Okay. And then you always want to make sure you wipe your stencils and your palette knife and tools off if you use any kind of medium gesso modeling paste. It just sticks to it like crazy. All right, so now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna stand up. So I'm going to spritz the page with a little water mister, just to kind of relax it a little bit. And then I'm gonna spritz it with Media Shimmer Mister. All right, so I'm gonna, and I just put it in a small little bottle. And we'll move that color around with a little bit of water. So let's clean that up. Oh, love that. And I'll hold it up when it's completely dry. I have a page that's already dry. But what I'm going to do now is take a little bit of quinacridone gold, and I'm going to put that on my palette. Let's take a brush, and we'll get that really wet. Okay. And to thin this out, so if this is a little on the dark side, as I was just looking at it, it's a little on the dark side for me. So I'm going to take some of that blue away. You can also tap it. So now I'm going to take that paint and I'm going to tap it into my page. Rinse that out. Oh, thank you, Peg. Yes, we will definitely be doing faces in the group. Okay, now, if you're not familiar with this product, this is, let's get where it can zoom. This is Metallic Luster White Frost, okay? Now, it is a paste, but when you put a wet brush into it, you make it into a liquid, okay? And you can tap that on just like that, okay? Now, I'm going to set this aside, let this dry, but I already have one that's dried. And what I want you to see, let me hold this up. Do you see that metallic shimmer? That's the metallic luster. So, oh my gosh, it's just amazing and adds the most incredible sparkle to your page. Okay. So we're just going to do a really simple page. I'm going to paint some daisies. Make me feel better. Been following you so long the other day. Something wrong on a live. Oh, Jeannie, no worries at all. None at all. I'm always misspelling things. All right. Thank you guys so much for all that love on the pages. Let me zoom in just a little bit. Okay. So again, I'm going to rinse my brush out and pick up. This is Payne's Gray. Actually, I'm going to switch brushes. I want to switch. I had a 10, but I'm going to switch to an 8. And if you didn't see on the Facebook group, yes, on my page here, I did list the colors that I used for Sunday's Live for the rose page, okay? So I'm just going to paint quickly some daisies. Now you're probably thinking, why are you painting them Payne's Gray? I want them dark before I take them light, okay? So I'm just going to let's see. We will put one right here. And let's maybe do one right here. So when I'm designing and laying things out, I typically will do this with a very thin down. This is how I come up with my design. I take paint and I just start painting. I typically don't start with a line drawing. Very rare that I do. Okay, let's go ahead and get some green. And again, like I said, this is going to be a quick page. Not all the little fussy details that I normally put on things, but I am not going to skimp on, the important parts. So again, a little Payne's Gray, little sap green. If something's in the way, I tend to go right over it. Let's make that a little bit on the thicker side. That one's very straight, isn't it? Okay, so let's paint some leaves. Very simple, very easy, no fuss. Just load that brush up. just gonna slide, oops, slide and paint those leaves just like that, okay? Okay, and that leaf right there is driving me crazy. So guess what? Because my page had that gesso on it, I can do just that. Before it dries, I can completely wipe it off. Okay, where else do we need one? Maybe one here. Okay, I'm not gonna put too many. And then let's go to our white. So I'll pick up some white. And I'm gonna move my chair. I do too, Anita, I love using a palette knife for gesso, because what happens is, do you see where that paint's darker? That's where the gesso did not go. And so it's darker because the paper grabbed that color. And then where that brown and the blue mixed together a little bit, but then where it didn't, oh, so pretty. And then I especially love this corner, again, where you have a little bit of that metallic luster that we splattered on. Okay, so I'm just gonna pick up white. And I don't care if my gray is wet or not. I'm gonna zoom in just a little. I'm gonna pick up some white. And I'm gonna go over my daisies. And again, if they're wet, that's quite all right, because we're gonna go over them a couple of times. If I do something like this, or when I do something like this with my membership now, I always give them a line drawing. I'm just gonna turn it to, okay, I even picked up a little bit of that green, and that's quite all right. So. A little bit more. I think I touched my finger there. And then those little touches make the flower look like it's this, like it's cupped, right? Okay, so now I'm gonna wipe off my brush, rinse out my brush. And let's pick up a little bit of, I'm gonna leave those for right now. I'm using the DecoArt Media Fluid Acrylics. You can use regular acrylics, but I'm using these fluid acrylics. They are my favorite. I'm gonna pick up a little bit of the sap green, the green gold, and a little bit of white. Swipe that across my paper towel. Hello. Let's get that green off. And I'm just gonna swipe that down the leaf. My leaf's a little wet, and that's perfect. Just like that, okay? So just a little touch, just the hint of, the look of, that's a highlight on that stem, on that leaf. Okay, don't need it in there in the center, but again, when things are in the way, I tend to just go right over them. Like I wanted that flower on top of that, so to make sure that that stem just flows, just go right through it. So I like the, to answer, where did I just see that, Paula? I like, this is my favorite, the Media Gesso. I know that's a little difficult to come by. It sure is, Linda. So thank you for letting Deb know. So the Traditions white gesso is awesome as well. I like those. They're thick enough that I can put it through a stencil, and it doesn't bleed underneath. All right, so, and like I said earlier, guys, on Friday when I was painting on DecoArt's site, the video kept locking up, and on the replay, it was perfectly fine. So if it's annoying you, just come back and watch a little bit later. All right, so what I'm gonna do now is put out a little yellow. I'm gonna pick up some of that sap green and Payne's gray, and I'm just gonna tap in. Right in the center. Okay, so sap green and Payne's gray, and I'm just tapping in. If I get on the petal, that's okay, because I'm going to come back and repaint those. All right, but just to kind of get those centers in. See, quick, easy. Products I buy at convention. I love that, Linda. I love finally learning how to use all of the products I buy at convention that I never use again, like the spray and the luster. Hello. So Carol, it is obviously something wrong with Facebook and it's locking up. So you can come back and watch the replay. Should be flawless. If it's not, I'm recording this. I will upload this to the page so that you guys can see it. Okay. So what I am going to do now is go ahead and dry this off just with my heat tool. And I already did this page earlier today, so I'll show you the finished one as well. That's obviously going to be a little prettier. This was one thing I always told myself when I started art journaling as well, is that if I did not like a page, I could not tear it out of my art journal. I had to gesso over it if I didn't like it. And a lot of times I'll just gesso over part of it. And I've created some of my favorite pages that way. All right, so now I'm just coming back and I'm putting a little bit more white on. See how much, and I'm not trying to cover up all of the Payne's gray. Okay. And then and they're gonna look very flat until I come back and add some special touches to them. Okay. So again, my membership doors open this coming Friday morning, and they close Monday at midnight. I extended it to 4 days instead of 3. And once the doors are closed, the doors are closed. You won't be able to sign back up. There's a yearly option. There's a monthly option. And again, just Payne's gray, sap green in the center. All right, so quick and easy, right? So let me dry that again, and let me show you the finished one so you can see where we're going, okay? So that's what I did earlier. I love the top daisy up here where my thumb is. Didn't get that same shape on this one, and that's quite all right. Okay. So I do want to fix this one petal right here. It's driving me crazy. So let me get up on the camera there for you, because I do like my original where they come down just a little bit. See? Easy peasy. You go right back over it with paint to fix the shape. Okay? And then we will dry it. All right, so I'm gonna come back and hit those with white. Ooh, look how that bubbled up. Oh, that's funny. It bubbled up because my my page was hot from hitting it with that heat tool. I've never had that happen, but it kind of added some cool texture. Well, Linda and Paul, I have to tell you, I'm the same way. A lot of times I will get well, probably not as much now as I used to be, but before I would buy products to have them, I'm going to let this cool for a second. And they just sit there for years. And then finally I just thought, okay, I've got to start using this product. And like I said, I always try and find unconventional ways to use things and, you know, just see what they can do. All right, that is a pretty bad daisy, but we're going with it. Okay, where is my angle brush? So I'm going to get a 3/8 angle. We'll get some quinacridone gold. And I'm going to take that quinacridone gold and just right at the base of these petals, I'm going to put a little bit of color. Okay, so just a little bit of that quinacridone gold. Just kind of give it a little bit of warmth, and it ties it into the color that we have that we splattered in the background. So I have the color on the toe of the brush, the long part, and it's just kind of a little shimmy, just a little shimmy. Okay. And I'm doing this before I do the center, because if I get onto the center, it doesn't matter, since I'm going to come back and fix that up. Okay. So again, quinacridone gold at the base. Just a very loose little float of color. Let's go ahead and dry that. Thank you so much, Debbie. All right, so let me let that sit for just a minute, because you saw what happened here when the page was still hot. So see how it's curling up? Let me show you a trick when you're working on it. Until I get the other side done, it's going to curl a little. So I just take my page and curl it back just to kind of lay it a little bit flatter. Okay, so I'm going to take a little bit of Payne's Gray now, and I'm going to do the same thing. So just to kind of deepen that quinacridone gold just a touch. We definitely need to do it here to ground that center. It doesn't just look like it's sitting on top of those petals. Again, this is Payne's Gray, just a loose little float right over that quinacridone gold. I'm just going to float that on. And with this color, you know, this is where if you wanted to do lines on there's a little too dark, but if I wanted to pull lines on the petals, let me zoom in for you. Okay, I can slide on the chisel edge and kind of put those in. Okay, so see, I mean, you can add some really cool texture just with that color to give those petals a little bit more realness. I'm not a realistic painter. I like very loose, impressionistic, the impression of, the hint of, the look of. But like I mentioned before, you do not have to be, you know, a decorative painter. You don't have to be a mixed media artist. You don't have to have any kind of title after your name. Or if you do, that's fine too. All my hope and desire is with my membership is that I share my passion and my love for creating with the people that want to create and learn from me and to be a part of my community. So I hope that's something you guys are interested in. And again, you can go to my website, find out more information, email me, ask me questions here. And like I said, I'm not looking at them right now because I'm just painting through our our interruptions here on Facebook. And I will go back, I promise, to answer them as I always do. Tomorrow, I'll be back on doing a live, and I'm actually going to be creating on a tag, just a chipboard tag. Okay, so we have our flower on. Now what I want to do is I do want to come back and shade a little bit in between. I know I said I wasn't going to add a lot of details, but when you have things that touch, they just need to be separated sometimes so that they look separated. So again, not adding too many details. Kathy Hansen, I'm so glad you're here. We were talking about you and what an awesome drawing tutorial you did for my membership. And Kathy is a member in my group and just love having her and so many others. I mean, just again, when you sign up, you'll be admitted into the Facebook private group. And you can start looking at all the content from last October, and there's plenty of it. Okay, so what happens when you start adding in that shading and stuff, you tend to get into some of those petals. So if you do, especially the ones in the front, you just want to hit those. Ooh, have a little green in that. That's kind of pretty. And you just want to hit maybe the tips on those to brighten them just a little. This one's wackadoodle shape. Let me tell you, I'm not worried about it right now, but it definitely will be fixed. I'm just going to keep rolling with it right now. Okay, now let's go to our centers. Okay, so I am going to I want to add a little tinge of color, a little tiny tinge. And so let me show you what I did after I finished these. I came back in and I added just a subtle little pink. I just thought it needed some pink. So that's what I added. A little bit of quinacridone magenta. And I'm just going to kind of put it here and there. Just in a couple places. I can't wait to show you guys the stencil little trick. And there's one lesson in my membership group that was all about different ways to create and use stencils. And I have to tell you, as I was putting it together for my my membership, I surprised myself. I taught myself a couple things and I thought, oh, I have to share that with them. So love it when that happens in the experimenting of things, and you know, teach yourself something. Okay. And I got this question. I know I brought it up. I know I brought it up on Sunday, but I want to tell you again. So I remember being at a convention and someone said to me, you know, I really wanted to sign up for your class until I saw that it was on paper. And so I said, oh, no, I totally understand. I said, the thing is, that's just a surface. You can take that, like I do, create in my journal, and then I take that to wood, paper mache, canvas, you know, fabric, to all these different surfaces. So don't get hung up on the fact that it's just paper. You can rip this out and frame it, and it's a piece of art. The next day, the same lady, I saw her in the hall, and she said, I'm really bummed now that I did not take your class because my roommate came back with her journal pages, and she goes, and I was blown away with how artistic they were. And I said, well, thank you. I appreciate that. I said, you know, it's what I try and do in my journal is to just do a lot of different techniques, a lot of different things. So the next year, she was in my journal class. So, okay. So my flowers are done. Now I'm just going to kind of mess with the centers a little bit. A little light green, a little yellow, a little white. I'm going to tap it off on my paper towel, and I'm just going to tap in a little center. Okay, it's going to be a little muted at first. Hi, Patty. So glad you're here. Okay. So again, little yellow, little, it's Hansa yellow light, green gold, white, mix it together, tap it off. I'm just this is number 8 flat. I'm just tapping with the brush I had in my hand. Okay. Just to kind of get a little center in. And I like it texturized. I mean, there's texture on that because that brush is kind of dry and it's splitting because it's kind of dry. And it's just going to give you a really cool textured flower center. Okay. I'm going to sign up for your journals every day. I look to see if it's sign up time. Thank you so much, D. Gatz. It will be Friday morning, and I got my present in the mail, that mat. Thank you so very much. Okay, so I'm getting a little carried away here. So I'm going to rinse my brush. Let's go back to our, where's my angle brush? Let's go back to our angle brush. And a little bit of Payne's Gray. I want to ground this just a little bit more. By grounding, I mean put that center into the center of that flower. I don't want to make it look like it's just kind of floating. Okay. And then we'll get that little center in there. Okay, so we're going to leave those for right now. Let me zoom out. Okay, so I'm going to show you how I did this word. Okay, so I'm using a DecoArt stencil, and I might have to zoom out even more. Oh, I really got tight there. Okay, so let me zoom out a little more. All right, now I want to make sure it's straight. Actually, I think I did this on a journal page, Facebook Live, many months ago. I might have done this now that I think about it. So I have that taped just so I don't get into any other letters. And I want to use some black. Actually, I'm going to use Payne's Gray instead because it's not as harsh. And absolutely, Linda says you can do so much on paper. It kind of takes the pressure away. It doesn't have to be a forever piece, but it might end up as one. Yes, I agree. Okay, so Payne's Gray on my brush, and I'm going to go right over. I'm already seeing I need to do black instead, I think. Let me see where my black is. Right there. I want it to be darker. So I can already tell I need to add that black to my brush. And this is key. You want to wipe almost all of it off. It's easier to layer than it is to clean up a big mess underneath your stencil. Soft circular motions, counterclockwise, clockwise. Okay, now I'm going to set this to the side. I'm going to bounce around just a little bit. Okay, and it did bleed a little bit right there. I don't care. I'm going to leave it. Come back and shade a little bit of color. So again, just a little bit of black. Just going to shade on the, on the right side of these letters. And what I better do, hi Cheryl, thank you Margie. I'm going to go ahead and just dry this a little. Okay. And the other thing in my membership group, when we work on our journal pages and stuff, I do use stencils and stamps, but I am a firm believer that you use what you have. So if you don't have a lot of stencils, guess what? If you have bubble wrap, if you have a toilet paper roll, which most of us do, right? You can create shapes and cool things using non-traditional items, okay? I never want anyone in my group to ever feel like they have to have every single thing that I'm sharing and showing. I know I'm one that likes to have everything and all the tools. But again, use what you have. Same thing for this. If you don't have the fluid acrylics and you have regular acrylics, use regular acrylics. Okay, so I just wanted to get a little bit of that shadow in. I know I typically will also fill in the bridges because I'm not a big fan of where it looks like it's a stencil. So I'm just going to take the chisel edge or the tip of that brush and fill in to take away that look that you used a stencil for the word. Oops, I grabbed the Payne's Gray. There you can see how different it was. Transparent versus opaque. Okay, so let's let this dry. You always made me... Oh, thank you, Isabel. I have to tell you guys, sometimes when I'm creating and, you get to that ugly stage. Well, when somebody just logs on and they're looking at and they're seeing that you're at that ugly stage, yeah, that always worries me that, are they going to come back? So let me find, I'm going to get a small brush. So this is just a number 4 flat and some Payne's Gray. I want it nice and inky, and I'm just going to add some drop shadows. Okay, so just some shadows like I did Sunday on our stamped piece with the roses. just some, and you guys cleaned me out. I sold out of those rose stamps in no time. But I will be getting them back in this week, hopefully. They're on order. Okay. So again, just put in that shadow. I don't even know if that's showing up for you guys. Jumped in just at the end. Thank you, Jessica. I was just saying, I kind of hope that people that are just jumping on aren't jumping on at my ugly stage, because yeah, they were not looking so great for a while. And this one's still not great, but it'll do. Okay, so all I'm doing with that Payne's Gray is sliding in a very inky shadow for these leaves and stems. Okay, what color for the shadow, D? My favorite go-to is Payne's Gray. Okay, so let me see, it looks like there's a glare. So Payne's Gray, you can also use in the Americana line Payne's Gray. They're pretty similar. This one's just a little more transparent. Okay, so again, just some little shadows. Get the shadows in on the leaves. Now, how quick and easy was that, guys? I mean, those shadows, super easy to put on. Now, I am going to come back with my angle brush. I will be on tomorrow night at 7. Again, I'm going to be sharing a little bit more about my membership group and be creating a tag. So just a little tag that's with art. I did a lesson with my tribe, with my membership, and loved what we did. And again, that lesson's in my group. So when you sign up, all that content from October is there for you to watch, create, lots of printed materials to download. And again, my doors open Friday. They close Monday at midnight. And I go live with the group Wednesday night at 7. A little welcome creating time. Okay, so I'm just taking that Payne's Gray on the toe of my angle brush. Oops, toe of my angle brush. Remember, I kind of work that in. And I'm just adding a little shadow under some of these petals that are hanging down. And I just went right over that petal with the word, but that's quite all right. I love layering. So, and that's what mixed media is all about. So having that on top of the petal doesn't bother me. In fact, it pushes that flower in the back. If I wanted to, I could paint the tip of it and put it over the letter, but I'm fine with it. All right. Now, let me show you this cool thing with the stencil. And like I said, I think I did this before on a Facebook Live here on my page with a butterfly page, something similar with this. So I'm going to go ahead and put this back in place and tape it. If we do not have the flower stamp that you use, what could we do? You can go to any kind of free clip art, line drawing clip art to get an image. If I hand draw the flowers and stuff on pages in the group that we do, Leslie, then I give everybody a line drawing for that. Okay, so let's line this back up. Okay, there we go. Okay, so I'm going to lift this up, slide this in place. lay that in place, and hopefully it's lined up. So what I'm going to do now is take an a stencil brush with white, load it up, wipe almost all of it off on a clean paper towel. Soft circular motions, clockwise, counterclockwise. Again, load that brush up. And this is, I don't know if y'all know, but this is a Tracy Moreau stencil brush. I love these brushes because see how the tip of it comes out? That's how it can get into tiny little places. Like this layering stencil look. It'll get into all those little bits. Yes, Paula, get all those out. Get all those stamps out. But look how pretty that is. Look how fun to dress up those letters with another stencil over a stencil. Isn't that just awesome? So that, Carol, the big stencil, I'm not sure. That's a Deco Art stencil. And then the little stencil is a Tim Holtz. It's a Flourish stencil, and it's on my website, but I'm currently sold out. So that was another thing y'all cleaned out on Sunday. Okay, so let's just add a little decor. I'm not going to do splatter, but, well, maybe I will. We'll see. Okay, so I'm going to take my ink pad, and I'm just going to run it right along the edge. And this is just going to frame it in. So normally I'll take a baby wipe and do a little edge, but you can do the same thing with your Stays On ink pad. All right, just like that. And then I am going to take a little stamp, just loaded that up with ink. Put that in place. Isn't that fun, Sharon, that stencil technique? I love how it just changes the look. Okay. So again, a little stamping in the background to give it some interest. And then I splattered it. I'm going to show you my finished one. I came back and splattered it with some Payne's Gray, some white, and some quinacridone magenta. And then I just added tiny little white dots around the flowers. Okay. So quick, easy, fun, less than an hour. I don't even think that took 45 minutes with all the Facebook interruptions and the freezing, which seems to have calmed down. So again, in the comments, just let me know if you have any other questions. The studio lights have done a number on my hair. I'm going crazy. I won't be going to bed tonight. Oh, Janet, I created the other day with my membership group on Zoom, and same thing. By the time we finished and I kept going and playing, I couldn't shut my brain off, and I just kept creating and creating and creating. I think it was like 10:30, and I usually I'm not one that paints. I used to paint late at night when my kids were younger, but I don't anymore. About 9 o'clock, I'm in my big comfy chair. So good question. I do varnish all of my pages. I like to use, let me see if I have it. I like to use the Deco Art, let's get the camera, Soft Touch Varnish. This is the media line. If you can't find it in the media line, they also carry it in Duraclear. And this is, a lot of times you can see these at Hobby Lobby and Michael's. Find them at Hobby Lobby and Michael's. So, look at my hands. I love having paint on my hands. In fact, I had paint on my hands before we even got started tonight. And I thought, I need to try and get my hands clean. I thought, we're going to be painting. So anyway, again, I hope you guys like and, how quick and easy, simple page, but fun to do using different techniques and products. And yeah, so let me just look at the comments real quick. Love the stenciling on the words. Me too. Such great ideas. Thank you, Diane. Do you spray finish each page? So Paula, you can spray varnish. I'm not a big fan of spray varnishes unless I need to do like a quick one over on something with either a fast, what is it called? Workable fixative or a matte spray. But I'll take that outside. In my studio, I just use brush on varnish. And for just about everything, whether it's on canvas, my journal, wood, you name it, this is my go-to. It just is amazing. It's got a nice matte finish and it just is super soft to the touch. And when you put it on your journal pages, it makes it feel like leather. So I know many of you on here have touched and seen my journal pages, and it thickens them up and it makes them feel like leather. So I just love the way it finishes it off. Thank you, Jerry. Thank you, Nicole. Thanks. Do you always have your art journaling in the evenings? Not always, Peg, but our Zoom classes, I usually will do later in the afternoon because of my West Coast members. And I think I've done an afternoon or two on the group. So times will kind of vary, but one thing I've not done since October, let me just be real transparent, is have it on the same day. So every month on, Mondays, or every month on Tuesdays, or every month on Friday. That might change because my schedule, being home now, has gotten to be a little bit more solid. So again, everything in the group is recorded. If you can't join the live, it's there. And I'm an email away, and my members message me and text me and ask me questions after watching it, or emailing me their pictures to see if they need to tweak anything, since we can't really see each other. And then of course they all share in the group, and they're all super supportive. It's just a great, great community of like-minded people that want to get together, create, and learn a lot of new fun, different techniques and ways to paint. So did you paint designs on back sides of pages? So yes, Dee, on my journals that are done, both sides of the pages are done. So again, I think I mentioned this on Sunday when I when I work in my journal pages with the group, or when I'm designing a journal page for something, for some reason, I tend to do this page, where this is on the left-hand side. I don't know why, I do. But I need to turn it over and create something on the other side, and I will. So when I run out of pages that are on the front. So, and then to, do this side, again, I just gesso it. You can cover this side with press and seal or saran wrap or blue painter's tape around the edges just to keep the paint off. But it's another reason why I varnish my pages, is so that when I do the other side, if I get any paint on this side, I can easily wipe it off. So definitely a good idea to varnish them after you're done. So again, guys, I'm not going to keep you any longer. Thanks so much for joining me. Thanks for putting up with the freezing on Facebook's end. And again, if you have any questions about my membership, please ask, please email, please message and let me know. I hope you'll join me. We have tons of fun. And I will be back on here tomorrow creating, probably again at 7 p.m., but I'll make sure to post it on the group. All right, you guys have a fantastic evening. Bye.